Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I hope you've all had a great weekend. In today's episode, just like the previous one, we're going to be discussing more than one topic. It seems like you guys love that sort of format, so I will continue to do it a lot more in the future. And just like the previous episode, well, the stories get crazier than ever. Firstly, we're going to be talking about Levi's and how extremely woke they have become. They are set to increase their gender neutral, gender fluid clothing line, and the image you see on your screen is one I actually personally took when I went into a store literally yesterday. It is everywhere. It is in your face. Secondly, we're going to be discussing Elon Musk because he is set to step down as CEO of Twitter in a matter of weeks, and it seems like he's just handed the keys over to somebody who's part of the galactic empire. Nothing could go wrong there, right guys? No, absolutely not. And lastly, Transformers Earthspark, a kids animated TV show, is causing a load of controversy right now because clips are emerging of them inserting political progressive ideology when it simply doesn't need to be there. All things pronouns, all things non-binary. Nothing is sacred anymore, ladies and gentlemen, but nonetheless, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. So Levi's has become the next company, joining a load of other companies going down this all-inclusive route, pushing political propaganda. I mean, why not? Look, it's 2023. Everybody's doing it, right? These CEOs clearly know what their customers want, and it's always gone down well beforehand, right? Bud Light, remember that one? Anyway, let's check out this Daily Mail report. We're here for that. Levi's CEO says it is growing its gender neutral line because there is definitely consumer appetite for that when asked about Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. Chris Berg, I believe that's how you say his name, 65 years old, spoke about how the 170-year-old San Francisco-based Levi's has been developing gender fluid garments under his leadership. The moderator in the interview, Axios Hope King, I believe that's how you say that name too, posed the question, Bud Light's recent marketing stunt shows where the backlash can come from. How do you market products in a world where people are more aware of their gender identities? CEO Chip Berg went to go on and say, we actually have a gender neutral line. It was a small collection. We know that some women buy men's products and some men buy women's products. We know that goes on. We've got the research and the data to show it. That's great. We're building out slowly. It started with a small collection of gender neutral or gender fluid line, and there's definitely consumer appetite for that, and we're here for that. No. There's only one thing you're here for, pushing politics and making a load of money, and that's simply it, because it doesn't really make much sense to have a gender neutral, gender fluid line, because as you recognize, right, men are buying women's clothing, women are buying men's clothing, so why not just allow that to go on? You know, nobody really bats an eyelid anymore to that, but you know as a CEO that these buzzwords, gender neutral, gender fluid, attract a load of progressives and make a load of money, and obviously push politics with that. That's all you're doing it for. To have a gender neutral line, gender fluid line, doesn't that, and this is just my opinion, but doesn't that invalidate having a male and female section anyway? Why not make it all gender neutral? Right? It doesn't make much sense. It's the buzzword, okay? It's simply that CEOs hear that and are like, oh, we can make a load of money with this one. Let's push politics. It sounds great. Simply it. This story, however, was written in the stars for me, okay? Because when I actually saw this article, I was in the car and I was going to the shopping center, right? And coincidentally, we actually went into a Levi, so I was just stood there and I started to look around and it hit me straight away, okay? A load of the models being used for their promotional stuff, you know, on the posters, etc., etc. I'm not joking when I say this, I promise you, I could not tell whether they were male or female or not. And obviously, that's purposely done to highlight the inclusivity Levi's is pushing for. But I did stumble across a t-shirt that kind of reminded me of Instagram bios in 2023 because they had she/her pronouns on the back, he/him pronouns on the back, and they/them. You see, just reading that out, I automatically feel a bit left out, okay? Because as many of you also know, my pronouns are king/JD. I announced this many episodes ago, so until those are on a t-shirt, I will feel very left out. This is bigotry of the highest level, and I will be emailing you to make sure you change it. And until then, my feelings will remain hurt. But all jokes aside here, on a t-shirt, look, when people go into clothes stores, okay, and all CEOs watching right now, take notes because this is actually groundbreaking. When people go into stores, clothes stores, okay, they just want to buy the clothes. They don't want to be bombarded by political propaganda and pronouns on t-shirts, because I'll tell you now, as soon as I entered that store, it was literally in your face, okay? It was everywhere. You looked around and you definitely thought you had transported yourself into California. It was that woke. I couldn't believe it, if I'm going to be honest with you. What they don't realize, okay, is when they go down this route, they have to stay down this route as Bud Light are finding out, okay? Because if you backtrack, you're then going to annoy and upset the people that you were advocating for, okay? So whilst it sounds great to them, in the short term, they love it. They love to push for it because it's politics. And as I said, they make a load of money. In the short term, it sounds great. But in the long term, when more and more people grow frustrated, you won't be able to go back. You know, you'll have to stay there. Or if you do a Bud Light, you'll end up having two sides trying to boycott you. Okay? Imagine if people started to boycott Levi's over all of this stuff. Okay? And then they revert back. It's just going to end up like the same situation Bud Light are in. But money talks, and I guess walks. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We could go on circles with this one. Levi's has joined the bandwagon. I would love to hear your opinions on this and the CEO who is pushing for all of this. But we go from one CEO to another, and this story is so bizarre, I don't even know where to start, if I'm going to be honest. Elon Musk has just recently announced he will be stepping down as CEO from Twitter. Okay, we all knew this was going to happen. Anybody that keeps up with Twitter, the news, Elon Musk, we all knew this time was going to come. He wanted to find a new CEO, and with the direction Twitter was heading in, you know, it started to become this beacon of freedom of speech. You would think Elon Musk would hire a CEO that looks like they stand for those things. Okay, and out of everyone he could have chosen, remember, Elon Musk has huge reach. He could have chosen anyone with the ability to become a CEO, but he chooses somebody who is affiliated with the Galactic Empire, the World Economic Forum. Make it make sense. I am excited to welcome Linda Yaccarino as the new CEO of Twitter. At Linda Yac will focus primarily on business operations while I focus on product design and new technology. Looking forward to working with Linda to transform this platform into X, the everything app. And this hasn't gone down well whatsoever on Twitter. I understand, okay, she's got connections with advertising, she worked for NBC, I understand all of that. It's not only conservatives who are upset by this appointment, because progressives, leftists are looking at who she follows and are seeing the people and they're like, well, they're right wing, so obviously she stands for certain things. But the reasons conservatives are upset are a little bit more justified than because somebody follows a few people you do not like. You look at what she stands for and what she has preached in the past. Okay, she's all about diversity and inclusivity, you know, all of those buzzwords. She pushes it very heavily in the videos, and then on top of that, you see her in other different videos where she's talking about CV19, and, you know, she's all for the agenda, etc., etc. You know, she speaks about the things that went across our faces and themselves. You know, all those things that come with a lot of censorship, okay? And in a time where censorship is at its highest level, in my opinion, okay, and freedom of speech is being stomped on, you don't need somebody who is also affiliated with the World Economic Forum, who is obviously loving the idea of freedom of speech being clamped down. You don't hire somebody like that. We all had issues with saying certain things on Twitter and getting shadow banned, etc., etc. People were saying stuff about certain narratives and they weren't getting heard because instantly they were gone. So you're going to hire somebody who works or is affiliated with people who like that? That doesn't make sense. It just doesn't look like a great move. It almost screams to me that Elon Musk wasn't genuine in the things he was talking about. Okay, because if somebody stands for all of those things and has spoken for all of those things, what happens when people on Twitter start going against those things, start voicing other opinions? You know, more banning, shadow bans, censorship. Will she even be in charge? Will she even be the CEO? Probably not. It'll be Mr. Burns himself in disguise. I could be wrong here, okay? I could be wrong. But my gut just tells me this isn't a great move. We got so far with Twitter, you know, and it was heading in a great place, and now it's just gone back to square one. And Twitter is back where it first started. That's what it seems like to me. And, you know, as I said, I could be wrong. In 6 months' time, I can hold my hand up and say, you know what, she's actually doing a great job. But for some reason, I just don't see that happening, because if she's aligned herself with a certain group of people, she's not going to be able to operate Twitter in a way that would suit everybody, because they'll have agendas they want her to push onto people, would they not? It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see, okay? But I don't think it's going to end well. That's all I can say. But lastly, ladies and gentlemen, in this very heavy video, I want to applaud you. If you're still here, it means so much to me. It really does. Make sure to leave a like rating. Leave your opinions down below about how you feel with all of the stuff we've spoken about so far. But Transformers, a classic franchise. We've all watched it as kids. There's so many things we love about it. Well, they've now decided that the next generation watching this animated series needs to learn about things like pronouns and being all non-binary. Take a watch.
My pronouns are they, them.
Thanks.
I'm Sam. I'm she, they, but you already know that. Sometimes the world can be a scary place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not.
That's true, though disappointing.
I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Non-binary?
People who aren't female or male. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed.
I always knew my pronouns felt right, but what a wonderful word for a wonderful experience.
I mean, just tell me why that needs to be there. And that's not the only clip, by the way. There's another one that I found, but it would just make the video far too long. But there's no other reason for it to be there apart from being a political one, right? Again, just like the rest of this video, people pushing political viewpoints onto people who didn't ask for it. And we all know kids are the most vulnerable, impressionable demographic. So apparently, the idea is they put it in all forms of media, and kids watch it. Kids use it. So when they grow up as an adult, all of these ideologies are just the norm to them. And questioning it, questioning certain narratives as they grow up, doesn't compute in their minds because they know of nothing else. And because these TV shows and other entities are teaching them about pronouns, what comes with pronouns? Entitlement. They've been told it's a terrible crime to not use the right ones. If you dare use the wrong ones, the worst crime committed on this planet, apparently. And because of that self-entitlement being installed into these kids, they then think when they hear the wrong pronouns that that person using the wrong ones is the worst person on the planet and they deserve to be shouted at, etc, etc. That's all pronouns are. They're a tool used for entitlement, to push people's entitlement onto other people. And if you don't make it all about me, 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 then you're in the wrong. It's a very clear message, you know, and they seem to not get it, but leave the kids alone. And you also have to remember, right, it all started off with love is love. Just allow us to be who we want to be. Accept us for who we are. So the adults all accepted it, and now they're telling the kids they have to accept it. They have to be forced with progressive ideology. It has to be in the kids' TV shows. It has to be on t-shirts. It has to be in everyone's faces. And then people call us crazy when we say things like, we don't want our kids, future kids, watching TV. They go, oh, how dare you want such a thing? You're going to deprive them. Kids must watch TV. So you're telling me they need to learn about pronouns, gender identity, and people's sexuality? Yeah, I think I speak for a load of people here. We'll pass on that one. It is going to be so hard to raise your kids, harder than it already is, especially in the future, because you have to remember these stories are becoming more and more frequent. It's going to be so hard to raise your kids without the media, entertainment, having an impact on them, a negative impact on them. And they do it on purpose. They make it extremely hard. They want to try and comfort your children. They want to try and indoctrinate them. That's the goal. But that is the end of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed today. Please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that big red subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. However, until next time, until the next episode, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day. Stay safe. I'm out. Peace.